Okay, I'm doing a video mostly on my own today.
Oh, you're on video?
Yeah, I'm already started.
I hope we pre-survive it and just show.
Yeah. Okay, so today we're going to be going through Genesis chapter 11 through 15. And yes, I'm doing this one alone today. I don't know why. My grandmother's giving my cousin a bath, so I just went ahead and started the video. I was going to do it this morning, but I had a lot of things to do. And also I went swimming, so I'm a little sunburned. But we're going to be doing Genesis chapters 11 through 15. This includes Tower Babel. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about though. Where they built... I'll explain it when we get to it. It's just the first chapter, so I'd probably get right away to it. Abraham's family, I almost said Abraham. Same people, Abraham and Lot, where Abraham fights all those people. They stole Lot, and he goes back to get them, fights them, and he is offered these riches, and he denies it because he only takes rewards from God and not other people who worship other gods. And also, the final thing we'd be going over today is God's promise to Abraham, which is a nation and a son. Which, if you don't know, really, Billy? Okay. So it's gonna be a bit longer than last week's because last week's we only went over 2 chapters. We was only gonna go over that one, but I went ahead and did 2 because it wasn't that long, and I wanted to go over more than what I did. But before we start, I didn't choose the Psalms, so we're gonna just open up to Psalms randomly, and we'll choose from there. Okay, let me find Psalms
Or
first.
you could just put both of them in a frying pan with water.
Back here.
But you gotta cut
This
it
is
up.
Proverbs. Okay, open to Psalms. So Psalm says, I open up to 57, chapter 57, so I'm going to just start and read the first verse. It says, have mercy on me, my God, have mercy on me, for in you I take refuge. I will take refuge in the shadow of your wings until the disaster has passed. Here's Billy. So this was written by David. And it says in the guided notes that this psalm probably describes David's reflections when he was hiding from Saul in a cave, which this all happened in Samuel, I'm pretty sure. It's just my favorite book, so.
You got me on that one.
Alright, that's the songs for today.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Okay, starting with chapter 11. Reading 5 chapters. Now the whole world had one language and a common speech.
So you can cut it if that's what you want to do.
Okay, as people moved eastward, they found a plain in Shinar and settled there. They said to each other, come, let's make bricks and bake them thoroughly. They used brick instead of stone and tar for mortar. Then they said, come, let us build ourselves a city with a tower that reaches to the heavens, so that we may make a name for ourselves, otherwise we will be scattered over the face of the whole earth. But the whole Lord Billy, you're messing me up. Billy, please stop biting me. Calm down. Dog. I'm gonna kick you off this couch if you start acting crazy. Ow! Okay. Get this dog.
That's what you get for excluding me from the...
Okay. You ran.
Right.
I'm gonna start over. I wasn't... Okay.
He fired me.
I did not fire you. Okay. I'm starting over from chapter 11 because of this dog.
Dog's driving you crazy.
He bit my sunburn.
Bye.
Should have done your hair.
He is.
I'm joking. Now the whole world... You notice Billy. Billy.
Oh, again, because we're doing the videos.
Yeah. What you get for saying, that's what you get. So, comma is not that nice, is it?
No.
Now the whole world had one language and a common speech. As people moved eastward, they found a plain in Shinar and settled there. They said to each other, "Come, let's make bricks and bake them thoroughly." They used brick instead of stone and tar for mortar. Then they said, "Come, let us build ourselves a city with a tower that reaches to the heavens so that we may make a name for ourselves. Otherwise we will be scattered over the face of the whole earth." But the Lord came down to see the city and the tower the people were building. The Lord said, "If as one people speaking the same language they have begun to do this, then nothing they plan to do will be impossible for them. Come, let us go down and confuse their language so they will not understand each other." So the Lord scattered them from there over all the earth, and they stopped building the city. This is why it was called the Tower of Babel. I don't know. Because there the Lord confused the language of the whole world. From there the Lord scattered them over the face of the whole earth. And let's talk about that, because the next paragraph, not next chapter, is going to talk about a family. So, I just got a brain fart like really bad. Okay, so when researching this, I saw that the Tower of Babel wasn't rather like an actual tower going to heaven, but instead it was like a pyramid like this. Similar to a pyramid, not as huge as like the pyramids in Egypt and that, but it was I don't know rather if it was going to heaven or it was actually just a tower that was worshipped for their own humane needs. So rather than, trying to reach heaven, they were just building a name for themselves. So God didn't, he says he's a jealous God and he doesn't like us worshipping false idols, so he definitely had to do something about that. But I guess I used to look at it as the tower was building up to heaven so they can make it to God, but Billy's right here.
What, Jesse?
But when researching, I found out otherwise. So now we're going to go over the account of Shem's family line, or family tree, whatever y'all want to call it. 2 years after the flood, when Shem was 100 years old, he became the father of... I'm going to say some of these names wrong, but I'm sure we all understand why. Arphaxad, and after he became the father of Arphaxad, Shem lived
right here on the couch, Jesse.
500 years and had other sons and daughters. When Arphaxad had lived 35 years, he became the father of Shelah, and after he became the father of Shelah, Arphaxad lived 403 years and had other sons and daughters. By the way, I heard that they didn't. Some people say that they actually lived that long, while some people say that's how long their family generation lived, which I don't know is true or not, but I guess we'll find out one day. When Shelah had lived 30 years, he became the father of Eber, and after he became the father of Eber, Shelah lived 403 years and had other sons and daughters. When Eber had lived 34 years, he became the father of Peleg, and after he became the father of Peleg, Eber lived 430 years and had other sons and daughters.
Or you can just decide where.
When Peleg had lived 30 years, he became the
Where's
father
my
of Reu.
blanket?
It's right here. Reu, and after he became the father of Reu, Peleg lived 209 years and had other sons and daughters. When Reu had lived 32 years, he became the father of Soeg, and after he became the father of Soeg, Reu lived 207 years and had other sons and daughters. I know for a fact I am saying some of these names wrong.
There we go. Give the other one. I was playing. I think got another one.
When Serug had lived 30 years, he became the father of Nahor. And after he became the father of Nahor, Serug lived 200 years and had other sons and daughters. When Nahor had lived 29 years, he became the father of Terah. And after he became the father of Terah, Nahor lived 119 years and had other sons and daughters. After Terah had lived 70 years, he became the father of Abram, Nahor, and Haran. This is the account of Terah's family line. I'm going over the family names right now, so that's fun. This is the account of Terah's family line. I already said that. Terah became the father of Abram, Nahor, and Haran became the father of Lot. While his father Terah was still alive, Haran died in Ur of the Chaldeans, in the land of his birth. Abram and Nahor both married. The name of Abram's wife was
Okay, Jesse?
Sarah. I heard it's pronounced Sarah. You know Sarah, Abraham's wife.
Yeah.
Abraham's. I'm on the part where he's called Abram. So
Abram
yeah, Abram.
and Sarah.
You
like
know-
S-A-R-A instead of S-A-R-A-H, which it
It's
changes.
Sarai. You know she's his half sister.
She's what?
Abraham's half sister. You didn't know that? Okay.
Yeah.
I figured that out last night.
Oh, you're on the video.
Yeah. I was reading and I figured it out last night. The name of Abram's wife was Sarah, and the name of Nahor's wife was Milcah. I know I'm pronouncing it.
M-I-C-A-H or M-I?
Oh, not Micah.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about Milkah. If you want to come over here and do the video, you can. She was the daughter of Haran, the father of both Milcah and Iscah. I know I'm pronouncing these names wrong. Now Sarah was childless because she was not able to conceive. Terah took his son Abram, his grandson Lot, son of Haran, and his daughter-in-law Sarah. See, Abraham's dad, Terah, his daughter-in-law is Sarah, meaning it's Abraham's half-sister, which is crazy. Which, I mean, it was normal back then, but until Leviticus came around, and,
Yeah.
all those rules came, it changed. It's definitely not normal today. So. And together they set out from Ur of the Chaldeans to go to Canaan. But when they came to Haran, they settled there. Terah lived 205 years, and he died in Haran. So Terah is actually Abraham's father.
You alright, Jesse?
And his sons are Haran, Abram, and Nahor. And I am saying these names wrong, I know for sure I am. And Haran was the father of Lot, who was Abraham's nephew, while Sarah was the daughter-in-law of Terah, who is also the half-sister of Abraham. So if you connect it together, Abraham and Sarah, somewhat related. So, that's weird. Little. Chapter 12, the call of Abraham. The Lord has said to Abraham, "Go from your country, your people, and your father's household to the land I will show you. I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you I will curse. And all people on earth will be blessed through you." So Abraham went as the Lord had told him, and Lot went with him. Abraham was 75 years old when he set out from Haran. He took his wife Sarah, his nephew Lot, and all the possessions they had accumulated and the people they had acquired in Haran. And they set out for the land of Canaan, and they arrived there. Abraham traveled through the land as far as the site of the great tree of Moreh at Shechem. At that time the Canaanites were in the land. The Lord appeared to Abraham and said, "To your offspring I will give this land." So he built an altar there to the Lord who had appeared to him. From there he went on toward the hills east of Bethel and pitched his tent, with Bethel on the west and Ai on the east. There he built an altar to the Lord and called on to the name of the Lord. Then Abraham set out and continued towards the Negev. Now there was a famine in the land, and Abraham went down to Egypt to live there for a while because the famine was severe. As he was about to enter Egypt, he said to his wife Sarah, "I know you're a beautiful woman. When the Egyptians see you, they will say, 'This is his wife.' They will kill me, but will let you live. Say you are my sister, so that I will be treated well for your sake, and my life will be spared because of you." He was pretty sure he was punished for this by God, but we'll get to that in a minute. When Abraham came to Egypt, the Egyptians saw that Sarah was a very beautiful woman, and then Pharaoh's officials saw her. They praised her to Pharaoh, and she was taken into his palace. He treated Abram well for his sake, and Abram acquired sheep and cattle, male and female donkeys, male and female servants, and camels. But the Lord inflicted serious diseases on Pharaoh and his household because of Abram's wife Sarah. So Pharaoh summoned Abram and said, "What have you done to me? Why didn't you tell me she was your wife? Why did you say, 'She is my sister,' so that I took her to be my wife? Now then, here's your wife. Take her and go." Then Pharaoh gave orders about Abraham to his men, and they sent him on his way with his wife and everything he had.
She didn't like how big it was on her.
Marty?
How old are you?
Huh?
How old are you?
I'm 67. Why?
I got your.
Do you take two of these?
78.
You thought I was
Give me a minute.
76,
78.
78? Okay. Judy's 78. She'll be 78. I was 68.
Yeah.
Like 50.
Yeah. It was, says, so Abraham lost faith in God's protection, even after all God had promised him, and told a half-truth, because it's a half-truth, because he said Sarah was his sister, which technically she's his half-sister, and didn't say she was his wife.
Control. Birth control after.
The broadcast went up for a second, so I'm going to go over that again.
Her talking about those reactions.
Abraham said, he told these Pharaoh's officials that, "This is my sister, not my wife," which is a half-truth because she was his sister, but she was also his wife, half-sister though. So, which Abraham lost faith in God's protection, and even after all God had promised him and told a half-truth, this only made his problems bigger. So that was the punishment, or what he was getting for lying. And
It's
so
aloe.
don't lie. We'll get into all this after I finish reading. I'm not going to go deep into it until I'm done with it. But so Abraham went up from Egypt to the Negev. I hope I'm saying that correctly because I don't know how to pronounce most of these words. With his wife and everything he had, and Lot went with him. Abraham had become very wealthy in livestock and in silver and gold. And from the Negev, he went from place to place until he came to Bethel, to the place between Bethel and Ai, where his tent had been earlier, and where he had first built an altar. There Abraham called on the name of the Lord.
I'll probably use that because
Now Lot, who was moving with Abraham, also had flocks and herds and tents, but the land could not support them while they stayed together, for their possessions were so great that they had not been able to stay together. And quarreling arose between Abraham's herders and Lot's. The Canaanites and Perizzites were also living in the land at that time. So Abraham said to Lot, "Let's not have any quarreling between you and me, or between your herders and mine, for we are close relatives. It is not the whole land before you. Let's pass company. If you go to the left, I'll go to the right. If you go to the right, I'll go to the left." Lot looked around and saw the whole plain of Jordan. Zoar was well watered like the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt.
half a cup.
This was also, by the way, before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. That's a little note right beside it. This I was talking about. By the way, Abraham's actually putting his personal desires right here. He's putting his personal desires like out of the picture and letting his nephew Lot choose. Even though he is the heir of his family, because he's the oldest and Lot is his nephew, he still let Lot choose first on which he wants to do. And Abraham put his personal desires away, and this kind of benefits him later on actually, because of all this, Lot gets caught into some trouble and gets captured, and Abraham's able to go save him because of this.
You alright, Jesse?
So when you put your personal desires aside, it helps.
I think changing the living room just makes it
Okay. So Lot chose for himself the whole plain of the Jordan and set out forward towards the east. The two men parted company. Abraham lived in the land of Canaan, while Lot lived amongst the cities of the plain and pitched his tents near Sodom. Sodom is a terrible, sinful city, by the way. Now the people of Sodom were wicked and were sinning greatly against the Lord. The Lord said to Abraham after Lot had parted from him, "Look around from where you are, to the north and south, to the east and west. All the land that you see I will give to you and your offspring forever. I will make your offspring like the dust of the earth, so that if anyone could count the dust, then the offspring could be counted.
We were leaving at 11 and getting back.
Go
to Columbus around 2.
walk through the length and breadth of the land, for I am giving it to you." So Abraham went to live near the tree of Mamre, At Hebron, where he pitched his tents, there he built an altar to the Lord. This chapter is called Abraham Rescues Lot, which I've been talking about this entire time. Now, this has a bunch of names I'm not going to be able to say. Not another family tree, just a bunch of kings. At this time, when Amphiphael was king of Shinar, Erekah, king of Elslah, Kedorlaomer, king of Elam, and Tidal, king of Goyim. These kings went to war against Bera, king of Sodom. But okay, broadcast went out for a second. I'm gonna restart the chapter just in case it didn't pick up any of that, and now I'm gonna have to pronounce all these names again. The broadcast keeps pausing, by the way. I'm gonna say that more clearly. At the time when Amphiphael was king of Shinar, Arek, king of Elslah, Kedorlaomer, king of Elam, and Tidal, king of Goyim, these kings went to war against Bera, king of Sodom, Basha, king of Gomorrah, Shinbab, king of Admah, Shemeber, king of Zebulun, and the king of Bela. That is Zor, by the way. All these latter kings joined forces in the valley of Siddim, that is the Dead Sea Valley. For 12 years they had been subject to Kedorlaomer, but in the 13th year they rebelled. It was 4 against 5. 4 kingdoms against 5, by the way. The 14th year, Kedorlaomer, hope I'm saying that right, and I say that a lot, I just noticed. And the kings allied with him out and defeated the Rephites and Asher-Karnaim, the Zuzites and Ham, the Emites and Shavah-Kirthaim. I am going to, next video, which should be this weekend, by the way, because I was supposed to do this video last Sunday, but I didn't have the time to. But I'm going to show up how to say all these words. Next week we're doing, this weekend we're doing Ecclesiastes, and I want to invite one of my friends on it. So, okay. But in the 14th year, Kedorlaomer and the kings allied with him and went out and defeated the Rephites and Asher-Karnaim, the Zuzites and Ham, the Emites and Shavah-Karnaim, and the Horites in the hill country of Seir, as far as El Paran near the desert. Then they turned back and went to En-Mishpat, this is Kadesh, and they conquered the whole territory of the Amalekites, as well as the Amorites, who were living in Hazion Tamar. Then the king of Sodom, the king of Gomorrah, the king of Admah, the king of Zebulun, and the king of Bela, that is Zor, marched out and drew up their battle lines in the valley of Siddim against Kedorlaomer, king of Elam. Tidal, king of Goyim, Amphiphael, king of Shinar, and Arek, king of Elslah. 4 kings against 5, like I said earlier. Now the valley of Siddim was full of tar pits, and when the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah fled, some of the men fell into them, and the rest fled to the hills. The 4 kings seized all the goods of Sodom and Gomorrah and all their foods. Then they went away. They also carried off Abram's nephew, Lot, and his possessions, since he was living in Sodom. So, when Abram and Lot chose a fair share of land, Abram let Lot take, first, and Lot took, the biggest share, and for that, he got to live by Sodom and Gomorrah, which, who wants to live near those 2 places, especially Sodom and Gomorrah, like, especially back then, they were both sinful places, and pretty sure it talks about it in Isaiah, and it talks about it, it says earlier, the foreshadows Sodom and Gomorrah getting destroyed. It says this was before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. I mean, it brings that straight out what happens to it. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure in Isaiah it talks about Sodom and Gomorrah getting destroyed because of all the sinful actions. Like, I don't have a vision, like, I can't remember what happened, but I think it was either God or an angel came down and told someone to look away and turn most of the people into stone. I'm pretty sure. And it was because of all their sinfulness. And I'm pretty sure his family looked and was also turned into stone. But I forgot who it was all about. But I'm pretty sure we'd get to it eventually. A man who had escaped came and reported this to Abram the Hebrew. Now Abram was living near the great trees of Mamre, the Amorite, a brother of Eshcol and Anea, all of whom was allied with Abram. When Abram heard that his relative had been taken captive, he pulled out the 318 trained men born in his household and went in pursuit as far as Dan, That's the easiest one. Easiest name so far. Dan and Ham. Dan and Ham.
Used to be Jeff.
Easiest
Used to be
was in this book so far.
Now he's up
in the
there.
Bible.
Used to be in States.
During the night, Abraham divided his men to attack them, and he routed them, pursuing them as far as Harbah, north of Damascus. He recovered all the goods and brought back his relative Lot and his possessions,
You ready to get out?
together with the women and the other people.
Or you want to stay in some more?
After Abraham returned from defeating Chedorlaomer and the kings allied with him, the king of Sodom came out to meet him in the valley of Shavah. That is the king's valley.
Yes, you want to stay out.
Broadcast paused.
Jesse,
I'm going to start that sentence all over. After Abraham returned from defeating Chedorlaomer and the kings allied with him, the king of Sodom came out to meet him in the valley of Shavah. That's the king's valley. Then Melchizedek, I don't know how to say that. It looks like a very German word, but not German. This was way back then, before Germany was even thought of. Then Melchizedek, I don't know if I'm saying that right, king of Salem, I don't know how to say that, brought out bread and wine. He was priest of God Most High, and he blessed Abraham, saying, Blessed be Abraham by God Most High, creator of heaven and earth, and praise be to God Most High, who delivered your enemies into your hand. Then Abraham gave him a tenth of everything. The king of Sodom said to Abraham, Give me the people and the goods for yourself. But Abraham said to the king of Sodom, With raised hand I have sworn an oath to the Lord, God Most High, creator of heaven and earth, that I will accept nothing belonging to you, not even a thread or the strap of a sandal, so that you will never be able to say, I made Abraham rich. I will accept nothing but what my men have eaten, and the share that belongs to the men who went from me, to Aner, Eshcol, and Mamre. Let them have the share. Oh God. Excuse me. So, it says it right here, but
Where is the Vaseline?
he didn't accept this because it says, I had to read it right here because I forgot. I was thinking that it's because Sodom, the king of Sodom, worshipped like different people, but I was wrong. It was because he didn't want the sinful king of Sodom to say, I made Abraham rich. Instead, he wanted to be able to say, God made him rich, which I'm using a lot of, what is it called? Homophones? Rich. No, that's not. Rich.
I'm gonna give you some time.
WHICHRICH. Okay. Yeah.
helps
It sounds
for the
close,
sunburn.
but he would rather say God made him rich than the king of Sodom, which was a very sinful king, to say Abraham was made rich by the king of Sodom. Which I agree with him. I would rather say God made me rich. And who wouldn't want to say
When I
that?
got there today, I was like, 'cause I just.
So now this is where God promises Abraham a son, which, by the way, it's hard for him to get a son. I think it takes years for him to get a son because his first son is named Ishmael, I'm pretty sure, and it was actually with one of his servants, wife's handmaidens, I'm pretty sure. And then after that, he actually had a child with his wife Sarah, half sister, and named Isaac. So he got 2 sons. After this, the word of the Lord came to Abraham in a vision. Don't be afraid, Abraham. I am your shield, your very great reward.
Anyway, I got to work.
But Abraham said, Sovereign Lord, what can you give me since I remain childless? And the one who will inherit my estate is Eliezer of Damascus, which is one of his servants. And Abraham said, You have given me no children, so a servant in my household will be my heir. Then the word of the Lord came to him. This man will not be your heir, but a son who is your own flesh and blood will be your heir. He took him outside and said, Look up at the sky and count the stars. If indeed you can count them, then he said to him, So shall your offspring be. Abraham believed the Lord, and he credited to him as righteousness. He also said to him, I am the Lord who brought you out of Ur of the Chaldeans to give you this land to take possession of it.
About all the locations he has.
But Abraham said, Sovereign Lord, how can I know that I will gain possession of it? So the Lord said to him, Bring me a heifer. Heifer, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly.
Yeah.
A goat and a ram, each 3 years old, along with a dove and a young pigeon. Abraham brought all 3 of these to him, cut them in two, and arranged the halves opposite of each other. The buds, however, he did not cut in half. Then birds of prey came down of the Caucasus, but Abram drove them away. As the sun was setting, Abram fell into a deep sleep, and a thick and dreadful darkness came over him. Then the Lord said to him, Know for certain that for 400 years the descendants will be strangers in the country, not their own, and that they will be enslaved and mistreated them. But I will punish the nation they serve as slaves, and afterwards they will come out with great possessions. You, however, will go to your ancestors in peace and be buried at a good old age. In the fourth generation, your descendants will be coming back here. For the sin of my video pause for a sec.
Glad that thing's turned around.
Then the Lord said to him, Know for certain that for 400 years the descendants will be strangers in the country, not for their own, and that they will be enslaved and mistreated there. But I will punish the nation they serve as slaves, and afterward they will come out with great possessions. You, however, will go to your ancestors in peace and be buried at a good old age. In the fourth generation, your descendants will come back here, for the sin of the Amorites has not yet reached its full measure.
That little thing they put them in.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Lordy.
When the sun had set darkness and had fallen, a smoking firepot with a blazing torch appeared and passed between the pieces. On that day the Lord made a covenant with Abraham and said, To your descendants I give this land from the Wadi of Egypt to the great river, the Euphrates, the land of Kenites, Kezanites, Kadamites, Hittites, Perizzites, Rephaites, Amorites, Canaanites, Girgashites, and Jebusites. I hope I said any of those. I probably said all those incorrectly.
Are you letting Billy talk?
Billy's a dog.
Stop all the dog hate, guys.
Billy, come over here.
Talk before.
Okay, so that was chapter 1 through 15. Now, I'm going to do a brief summary of it. Starts off with the Tower of Babel. Tower of Babel. That's how you say it. Starts off with the Tower of Babel, which is really not a tower, but it's like more like a temple. Did you know that?
No, I thought it was a tower.
No, it wasn't. But
Did not know that.
it was most likely a ziggurat. Is that how you say it?
A what?
Ziggurat?
A who?
Ziggurat.
I don't know what that is.
It's like it's similar to a temple, except maybe a bit smaller than like the temples in Egypt.
Oh, okay. I never knew that.
And it was made out of brick. I'm pretty sure it says it right here. Come, let's make bricks. Yep, made out of bricks. So instead of being like an actual tower, which is I guess would be a common misconception, which I just learned this now. It instead was a little temple. And another thing is, I used to think it was actually just a tower that they were building to heaven so that they could, reach God. Like, people say they can make ladders to heaven and reach God that way, but you can't. And instead it was actually just trying to put a name for themselves. So, the Lord did not like this, and he gave them different languages and separated them across the face of the earth. Which, just imagine, I was thinking, I don't know if it happened this way, but imagine just one day, you're like, okay, so we're building this temple, okay? And then you're just speaking a whole different language. You're like, esto les digo, hola, ¿cómo estás? ¿Qué?
I'm so big that I'm bigger than these towers.
Yo soy habla español. No. Yeah, just imagine that, and you're speaking to a person who's speaking English. That's weird. That would be so weird. And then all of a sudden, you're on a whole different land. You're in Egypt, and then all of a sudden, you're in America. I mean, America wasn't then back then, but you get the picture. That's how I used to imagine it. Was you're speaking the same language. All of a sudden, other person's speaking Hebrew. You're speaking Greek, and you're like, whoa, that's scary. And somehow that's interesting to like wonder about how that works. But then we went over Abram's family. Terah was the father of Abram. Nahor, that's it. And Haran, I don't know how to say it. Haran or Haran. I'm gonna go with Haran. Haran, Nahar, and Abram, 3 brothers. Haran had a son, Lot, which is the nephew of Abram and Nahar. And Terah, which sounds like a female name, but it's a male name, had a daughter-in-law named Sarah, who is also the half-sister of Abram and the wife of Abram at the same time. And Abram used that as a, little safety thing for whenever he went to Egypt, escaping from the famine. And when he escaped from the famine, he went to Egypt and he told his wife. Video paused. The video keeps pausing because I think the internet's a bit off today. But if it is, I will redo this video. But Abraham, he went to Egypt because of a great famine. And then he told his wife, Sarah, that I'm going to have to lie about you, okay? I mean, you're very beautiful, and the Egyptians are going to see you and kill me and take you. So you're going to have to say, you're my sister, so we both can, get out of this little death threat that we're in right now. Which he probably didn't say those exact words, but that's how I put it in today's terms, I want to escape. I don't want to be killed because you're my wife. Instead, you're going to say, I'm going to say you're my sister. And which that did happen. And eventually Pharaoh figured out that it was his wife because of all these curses that God laid down onto them. And when that happened, Pharaoh kicked him out. Said, go and take your wife with you. And then Abraham and Lot, they were both, and they wrote, they both went to a place between Bethel and Ai, where they had their little camp set up. And Abraham and Lot had like this little discussion. And Abraham was like, here, look out from the east and west, north and south, okay? You can take, what you take east, I will take west. What you take north, I will take south. Opposite way around, you know what I'm saying. And he let Lot have the first choosing, even though Abraham had the right to have the first choosing because he was the oldest and was the, heir of the family. And if not, Lot, of course, would have gotten that stuff anyway if Abraham wasn't the heir of the family. So he put his, in which what I see this as, he took his personal desires aside and let his family choose first, even though, you should definitely always put your personal desires aside because it can cause trouble in your family and cause arguments, even though it might serve you wrongfully, which it didn't for Abraham. Yeah, that's what I see. He didn't get caught up and get captured like Lot did, but when he put his personal desires aside, Lot got his first choosing, and Abraham got his choosing, and Lot got himself in some trouble because he was caught up with Sodom and Gomorrah, and he got taken by some kings, and Abraham went up there and defeated those people. I don't know, did he defeat the kings or just, I think he defeated them, and when he went up there and captured Lot, well, got Lot back, I wouldn't say captured, but got his nephew back, the king, what was it? King of Salem blessed him, gave him some stuff, and then the king of Sodom wanted to do the same thing, but Abram was like, nah, fam, I'm not going to do that because you're a sinful man, and I would rather say God made me rich than the king of Sodom made me rich. I don't want you going off and saying I made Abram rich. So
Jesse, what do you
that's the whole reason Abram did not accept the king of Sodom's gifts and didn't share with him either. So after that, Abram was, the Lord spoke to Abram and promised him a son and made a covenant with him, which,
I do with the Vaseline.
is that it? Oh, that's aloe, never mind.
Yeah, it's for Jesse's back.
When I first read Genesis, it was I thought it would be a pretty straightforward book, right, Grandma?
Yeah.
There's a lot more to this. It's like whenever you do math, you look at this. you do math, you look at the surface area, and then there's volume, way bigger, so much more to it. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, Billy. You know, it's like doing math. It's like when you first read Genesis, it seems pretty straightforward, but whenever you read it just to like dive into it, it's a lot more.
When you try to break it apart.
Yeah, it's like I use the metaphor as it's like doing math. Whenever you're like doing surface area, it's not that much, but when you do volume, it's a lot more.
Oh, yeah.
It's like that's what I described it as.
When
But
you're really breaking it down to understand, it's,
okay, Billy, don't get
It's a
hyper.
lot.
So, didn't reconnect. Did you say it's a lot?
what, Genesis?
No.
Or a lot to understand?
Yeah, did you say it's a lot? Did you say that?
Yeah, it's a lot to break down and understand every.
You get it? You get it? It's a lot.
Oh,
Sorry, my phone said it was on 20%. So
we have one dog.
that's the brief summary I was gonna give.
We don't have any
I think the lesson I would got out of this is the personal desires lesson first. That's what I'm, most caught up on after reading these 5 chapters.
Oh, my goodness.
And
Restaurants.
when,
I like
I definitely, when I first read Genesis, I definitely overlooked these chapters a lot because I was probably like 7 when I first read Genesis. When you first read the Bible, probably really young, it's really hard to understand. I don't blame you. I think the most pretty straightforward books of the Bible are actually the Gospel. And there's a lot of things in the Gospels that you won't even understand. Like mostly the parables, most people don't understand because they're different than a pretty straightforward sentence like saying the woman touched Jesus' cloth and she was healed. And that's pretty straightforward, but whenever you read it and he's telling a parable, it's hard to understand. But enough talking about how hard it is to understand the Bible when you actually try and understand it, but which is true. But so God promised him nations. God promised him child. He made a covenant with him. Thing online, set your personal desires aside. It will do you good, and it's also less selfish. I mean, imagine how Lot felt whenever Abraham was like, "You get your first choosing," and Lot was probably like, "Oh, thank you, Uncle. That was pretty awesome of you." I mean, I would if it was me and my uncle, which I don't have an uncle, but let's just say for an instance I did, and he was like, "Oh, it's 2 flavors of Mountain Dew, which I really love Mountain Dew. Let's use that for instance. Nowadays, we're going to use nowadays. Mountain Dew Baja Blast and Mountain Dew Citrus. I love Mountain Dew Citrus, which is the orange flavor. I don't know. I think it's called Voltage. I would choose Voltage first because, it's the best. I would be really grateful because I got like what I wanted. I would be really grateful of my uncle if he did that. Which I don't have an uncle, by the way. Let me say that again. But he put his personal desires aside and let Lot choose first, which was pretty good of him, and it got him out of trouble. I mean, it got Lot into trouble, which wasn't good, but Abraham was able to save him, and he defeated some people, and it made some of the kings, king of Salem, and king of Sodom, pretty happy. Abraham was like, he was blessed by the king of Salem, which I already said this. I'm just doing this summary over again, but I was trying to summarize it even quicker. So that's pretty much all I could discuss of today. I want to do something extra this Friday, maybe Friday or Thursday, and then I definitely want to do Ecclesiastes this weekend. This weekend I want to do something, but next weekend I'm not going to be able to do anything because I'm going to be out all week on a youth retreat from a church, and but I will try and do something extra Friday because of that, and I'm definitely doing Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and 4 this weekend, and I want to invite one of my friends on it. So, I can't read comments because for some reason
Mexican friend comes in handy sometimes. I make fajitas.
I'm on video, by the way.
I made fajitas, and Karen's always taught me how to cook.
All right, I thought you were just being a little racist.
Hey, Jesse.
So anyway,
Let's put You want me to put some of this? Let me put
I
some
hope
of this
internet
on
didn't
your
ruin this
face.
video because I will do this video again if it did, but my internet kept going on and off and I just paused a few times. So if you watch this video again and I'm just staring at the phone like that, it's because the video paused. So
How's that feel?
alright,
Alright, don't get it in your eye, okay?
Mimi and Papa.
that's really all I can discuss. So I can't read comments for some reason. Maybe if I mess around a bit.
We'll put this, you want to put this in the refrigerator? Here, lay that. Feel those and see if they got hot, because when I turned them, they didn't feel
No, I can't read
it.
I don't know if anyone's watching either, but
It was weird.
Tori, can you just
since I
put
can't
this
read
on
comments,
your
I don't know how I'm going to be able to do prayer requests. You know, video paused again.
No, Billy.
Go stand in front of the couch. Right here.
I can't read any prayer requests because I can't see the comments, but nothing. I'm gonna,
Lay down.
pray now. So now in my church we go Father, Son, Holy Spirit, and clap our hands, which I say this every time, but I just, in case y'all are confused why I say Father, Son, Holy Spirit, and clap my hands, that's why. But Father, Son, Holy Spirit. God, thank you for allowing people to watch these videos and learn more about God. Thank you for allowing me to have this given chance to read your word and teach it. It makes me learn more, it makes these people learn more, it gives us both the chance to learn your word. I want to thank you for that, and you have my greatest gratitude, Lord. It gets me closer to you every single day, every single night, and it just makes me a better person in general. It makes me see how wonderful these people were back then and how today they affect us on our everyday lives, and even when we don't even notice. We get to set our personal desires aside, and when we do this, we get rewarded. And we set our sinful natures aside for you, Lord. Help with that, actually. Give us ease on the pain we have, and stray us away from sin, Lord, and from Satan's grasp. Stray us away from Satan's grasp, Lord. I can't read any prayer requests today because the comments aren't showing, but I know there are some throughout this whole entire word, all of us, and I want all of these prayer requests. Any prayer requests, unknown or known, I want them all prayed for, no matter what it is, Lord. I just want to thank you for all of this, Lord, again. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. So, next we'll be doing Ecclesiastes 3 and 4. 3 and 4. I want to do something extra on Friday, so I'm probably thinking Jude or Lamentations, either one of those. I haven't read Lamentations yet, I think. I've read Jude before, which actually I might do Jude because there's something in there I really want to talk about, which I really like. But, so, that's plans. Ecclesiastes 3 and 4 this weekend, definitely. Most likely Friday, I want to do either Lamentations or Jude. Most likely Jude. So, thank you for watching. If you didn't watch, though, I hope you have a chance to watch. But, that's next weekend. We're definitely going to do Genesis 16 through 20. And we're arriving close to the end of Genesis, so once we finish Ecclesiastes and Genesis, I'm planning on doing... I want to go over Isaiah, but Isaiah is really hard.
Get the hot dogs out of my corn dogs.
Genesis is really hard to understand. Not Genesis. I want to do Isaiah, but Isaiah is like really difficult to understand. And
I'm gonna do it anyway.
it's going to take a while to do Isaiah compared to most likely all the other books. Revelations, Isaiah, I want to do them both, but they are just probably extremely difficult. And I do have plans for Revelation, but I want to wait until I'm done with every book so I can have a good understanding of what Revelation is talking about, because you're not going to have a good understanding of what Revelation is talking about unless you've read most likely every book. And it's, even if you have a good understanding of every single book in the Bible, Revelation is just a whole nother, it's just difficult to understand in general. But it's interesting, and it warns us, and it, allows us to prepare, and it gives us the answers on how to prepare, and the whole Bible does. So that's all for today. Thank you.
Billy, what the